Commander Velkov stood, his gaze lost in the gleaming obsidian walls of the Galactic Council's grand reception chamber, admiring his reflection. His battle armor, a testament to a millennium of military tradition, shimmered, each segment meticulously forged from the remnants of vanquished worlds, each emblem a badge of honor won through sacrifice and triumph. The ceremonial plumes atop his helm swayed gently as he shifted his posture, bracing for the pinnacle of his career. Humanity was to kneel before the Council's dominion today. The colossal doors commenced their majestic, slow opening, engineered to evoke both profound awe and stark terror. A hiss of hydraulics, the deep groan of ancient mechanisms burdened by the weight of an empire. Veloth straightened, ready to greet Earth's most formidable champion. Instead, he found himself facing someone in simple flip-flops. "Oh, hey," a voice chimed, as a human woman ambled through, a half-eaten breakfast burrito clutched in one hand, a coffee cup in the other. "Is this it? The war powwow?" "Carla Carter," she introduced herself, a friendly smile gracing her lips. "So sorry, I'm a bit delayed." Blame the traffic. It was utterly unbearable. The ensuing silence was so profound, it could have powered a nascent star. Velkov's eye twitched, his gaze sweeping over the unexpected sight. The human, Carla, wore what could only be described as casual Earth attire. Shorts, a worn t-shirt adorned with indecipherable human script, and those peculiar foot coverings that produced soft slapping sounds against the hallowed floor. "You," Velkov articulated slowly, his voice resonating through the chamber, carrying the full gravitas of 1,000 subjugated systems, "are not appropriately attired." "Oh, this?" Carla glanced down at her ensemble, then back up at the imposing alien commander. "Yeah, I'm not really into the whole armor thing. It chafes, you know? Plus, I figured this wouldn't be a lengthy affair." A ripple of murmurs spread amongst the other council members, their alien tongues a cacophony of shock and indignation, the sentiment needing no translation. Behind Velkov, his aide, Zeptar, a creature of delicate nerves, frantically consulted his datapad. "Commander," Zeptar whispered, his voice laced with urgency. "The summons specifically requested Earth's finest warrior, in full ceremonial battle dress." "I heard the summons," Carla replied with disarming cheerfulness, apparently having caught the hushed exchange. "But here's the thing. I'm not exactly a warrior. I'm more of a problem solver. And honestly, your problem doesn't really call for armor." Velkov's forearms visibly tensed, his innate weapon systems beginning a low hum, a barely restrained surge of power. "Human," his voice boomed. "You stand before the Supreme Military Tribunal of the Galactic Council. You will demonstrate respect." "I am showing respect," Carla asserted, taking another bite of her burrito. "I showed up, didn't I? Sort of on time. And I brought my own breakfast so I wouldn't get hangry during the talks." "This is not a negotiation," Velkov's voice thundered across the vast space. "This is a tribunal. You are here to—" Humanity's transgressions against the galactic order were laid bare. Carla, mid-bite, questioned, "Crimes? What transgressions?" Veloth, taken aback, gestured towards the immense view screen. "Your people obliterated 3 of our patrol vessels." Carla waved her burrito dismissively. "That wasn't a transgression. It was a crucial safety recall. A design flaw in the hyperdrive coupling was exceedingly perilous. I dispatched numerous warnings, but my emails went unanswered," she explained with a shrug. "Consequently, I had to enact emergency shutdown procedures to avert disaster." Veloth's eye twitched more pronouncedly. "You incapacitated our ships?" Carla corrected. "Temporarily inconvenienced, pending mandatory safety upgrades, is a more fitting description." She finished her burrito, crumpling the wrapper. "Are there any receptacles nearby? This place is opulent, yet rather impractical." The wrapper landed with a soft rustle, echoing like a distant thunderclap. "Human!" Belos bellowed, his voice shaking the chamber. "You dare defile this hallowed sanctuary as if it were your primitive refuse receptacle." Carla responded, "First, that's rather uncouth. Second, I inquired about waste disposal. And third," her tone subtly shifted, "perhaps we should discuss why your revered sanctuary is constructed with pilfered Andromedan architectural designs interwoven with derivative Terran engineering." This revelation silenced everyone. Veloth's weapon systems ceased their hum. Zipar fumbled his datapad, and even the atmospheric regulators seemed to falter. "What did you just claim?" Veloth's voice was a mere whisper. "The gravitational stabilizers," Carla stated casually, approaching an ornate wall panel. "Third-generation human design, yet you're operating them at a mere 60% efficiency due to an incorrect power coupling matrix." She tapped another section. "And this," she continued, "is undoubtedly Andromedan crystal craftsmanship, but it's not adequately calibrated for this vessel's mass distribution." Turning to the stunned aliens, she offered a genial smile. "It suffices for basic functions, but should you ever need to outpace a quantum storm or engage in critical combat, you'd likely lose primary power and drift helplessly, awaiting rescue." Veloth stared, bewildered. "How do you possess such proprietary knowledge?" Carla winked. "But speaking of secrets, might we address the true purpose of this assembly?" The commander straightened, attempting to regain his composure. "The purpose of this tribunal is your species' blatant disregard for galactic law and military protocol." Carla countered, settling into a ceremonial seat, a move that elicited gasps of horror from several council members. "The actual reason is that your entire military strategy relies on technology It's bewildering, isn't it? All this technology, seemingly conjured from thin air, supplied by strangers, maintained by engineers whose credentials are an enigma." Carla, her flip-flops swinging with a nonchalant grace, finally posed the crucial question. Where did it all originate? The chamber fell into a hush, save for the hum of life support and the soft rhythm of Carla's flip-flop against her heel. "Impossible," Fell stammered, though his conviction wavered. "Is it?" Carla produced a device resembling a common human tablet and began to interact with its surface. "Let's investigate. Quantum flux capacitors, a license from Carter Engineering Solutions. Hyperdrive stabilization algorithms, a collaboration between Carter Labs and the Terran Institute of Technology. Defensive grid optimization protocols." She glanced up, a serene smile gracing her lips. "All Carter Engineering, it seems." A hushed whisper escaped Zipar. "A pattern emerges." Alex beamed. "A Carter Engineering family legacy. My grandmother founded it, my mother expanded it, and now I lead it. For decades, we've been the principal military contractor for roughly 60% of known space." Velkov's weapons, once powerful, now emitted a mournful, dying sound. "You fabricate," he declared. "Do I?" Alex's fingers flew across her tablet. "Because your vessel's diagnostics are laid bare before me, accessible through the very Carter Engineering telemetry systems embedded in every critical hardware component. And these readings are deeply troubling." She tilted her head, scrutinizing the screen as if reviewing a grocery list. "Your primary reactors are operating 15 degrees above optimal. Your gravitational stabilizers are drifting, and someone has been attempting unauthorized power reroutes to the weapon systems." Belos recoiled. "How are you breaching our systems?" "I designed them," Alex stated matter-of-factly. "Well, technically, I enhanced the systems my mother designed, which were themselves improvements on my grandmother's original creations. It's become a family endeavor." She rose, her flip-flops tapping a steady beat as she approached the vast viewing screen. "But the truly captivating detail is this. Someone has been probing the security protocols of nearly 40 different worlds in this sector. Identical methods, identical signatures, all focused on Carter engineering systems. The screen ignited, revealing a cascade of network activity logs, security alerts, and attempted intrusion notifications. The data streamed past at an incomprehensible pace for most, but Alex absorbed it like a familiar narrative. "You know what this suggests to me," she remarked casually. "It appears someone is orchestrating a massive conflict, and they're attempting to circumvent the safety mechanisms that prevent their weaponry from, now, accidentally destroying their own vessels." Beloth's eye twitched violently, poised to detach. "Routine maintenance scans," he claimed. Alex turned back, facing the council, their discomfort palpable. "Just like it was routine maintenance when you positioned your fleet aggressively around the Sol system last week," she quipped. The silence shattered by Zepar's faint collapse. "Now," Alex continued, returning to her seat, "I can spend hours detailing your profound misunderstanding of human capabilities and galactic power. Or," she paused, one flip-flop dangling, a smile spreading, "we settle this the traditional way." Velkost's remaining eye narrowed. "Traditional way? Single combat?" Alex chirped. "Your way, your rules, your weapons. Winner claims all." The commander's laugh was a grating screech. "Human! I've trained for 7 centuries, conquered 17 worlds, and never lost a duel." "Impressive," Alex responded lightly. "I've played recreational soccer since I was 6. This should be quite amusing." Valk's laughter choked. "Soccer? A human sport. Tactical, strenuous." Alex shrugged. "Plus, if I'm fighting in flip-flops, I'll stick to what I know." The commander's mind seemed to snap. "You're challenging me to ritual combat in beachwear." "When you phrase it that way, it sounds rather absurd," Alex conceded. "But you're the one championing honor and tradition. I'm merely adapting. You demanded I dress for war. I thought flip-flops were quite warrior-like. Practical, comfortable, and they make a satisfying sound when you walk." She demonstrated, her casual steps echoing. Slap, slap, slap. Utterly intimidating. She grinned. Bela stared, a spectrum of confusion, fury, and dawning comprehension crossing his face. "You're deranged." "Perhaps," Alex agreed. "But I'm also the one who's kept your civilization from self-destruction for 30 years. Maybe that's a beneficial form of insanity." She resumed her seat, surveying the council. "So, what's it to be? The easy path? We acknowledge humanity's decades as the galaxy's informal peacekeepers and proceed like rational beings. Or the difficult path, where I must meticulously explain precisely where challenging Earth is the most disastrous military miscalculation in history." Velov's hand instinctively found the ceremonial insignia upon his chest, the emblem of his command, his absolute authority as supreme leader of the galactic military forces. "You imagine you can simply stride in here dressed as a vacationer?" Alex offered helpfully. "A vacationer?" Belus bellowed. "You presume to enter dressed like a tourist and defy the mightiest fighting force in known existence." Alex pondered this. "Well, I actually already have. We're having this very exchange, aren't we?" The stark truth of her words struck the commander like a physical blow. He scanned the chamber, observing his colleagues' expressions, faces now etched with uncertainty, apprehension, and in some cases what appeared to be barely concealed amusement. "The challenge remains," he declared, his voice strained with suppressed fury. "Individual combat, with ancient armaments. Victory or utter annihilation." "Agreed, though I'm less inclined towards the annihilation aspect," Alex replied. "How about a victory? Or perhaps you'd treat me to a meal. I know a delightful establishment on Proxima Centauri." Belov's eye began to twitch anew. "This is no jest, Earthling." "I understand," Alex said, her tone growing solemn. "Believe me, I grasp the gravity of this. The true question is, do you? They locked gazes across the hallowed chamber, the colossal alien commander in his millennia-old armor confronting the human woman clad in casual attire. Between them lay not merely the physical expanse of the room, but the profound chasm separating fundamentally different understandings of dominance, confrontation, and preparedness for conflict. Very well, Velov conceded at last. We shall resolve this in the venerable arena at the traditional hour tomorrow. Make ready, human. I'm already prepared, Alex responded, rising and smoothing her shirt. And, Commander, you may wish to conduct a thorough check of your vessel's offensive capabilities this evening. Merely as a precaution, she moved toward the exits, her flip-flops tapping a cheerful rhythm on the polished floor. I would regret any operational failures during tomorrow's proceedings. As the immense portals commenced their gradual closure, Alex paused, glancing back. By the way, that insignia is quite striking, remarkably lustrous. I suspect it would complement everyday attire splendidly. The doors sealed shut with a thunderous report, leaving a chamber filled with profoundly silent, deeply contemplative aliens, and one prostrate aide who would likely awaken to a cascade of questions. The ancient arena, designed to instill dread, was sculpted from a singular colossal asteroid, transported to the core of Council territory, a testament to 10 millennia of martial tradition. Its walls ascended in flawless concentric circles, adorned with viewing platforms for the galaxy's most influential entities to witness the sacred rites of combat. Energetic fields vibrated at the perimeters, radiating an aura of formidable power. Designed to contain even the most devastating weaponry, the arena also offered spectators an unimpeded view of the brutal spectacle unfolding below. Today, those vantage points teemed with life. News had rippled through the Council fleet like wildfire. A peculiar human had challenged Supreme Commander Velkov to single combat, all while sporting casual beach footwear. Some had gathered to witness what they presumed would be a swift, instructive execution. Others were drawn by the incredibly lucrative betting odds offered on the human combatant. The majority, however, simply craved an escape from the mundane. Nothing so thrilling had graced Council space in centuries. Beneath the arena, in the preparation chambers, Feloth was immersed in his traditional pre-combat rites. His armor had been consecrated by the revered war priests of 7 distinct worlds. His chosen weapons had been hallowed with the very blood of his vanquished foes. His intricate battle plan had been meticulously scrutinized by the most brilliant tactical minds within the military echelons. He was as perfectly prepared as any warrior could possibly be. 3 levels down, in a facility generously labeled the Guest Preparation Facility, Alex Carter was engaged in a spirited debate with the arena's formidable weapons master regarding Wi-Fi access. Honestly, she stated, holding her tablet aloft, I'm not asking for the moon, just a sliver of basic network connectivity. How else am I supposed to keep up with my emails? The weapons master, a hulking, heavily armored entity whose designation translated roughly to Deathbringer who seeks sharp things, regarded her with sheer bewilderment. You are about to face the galaxy's supreme military commander in ritual combat, and you are concerned with checking your electronic messages? Alex explained. It's a very human trait, multitasking. Plus, I'm anticipating crucial updates from my engineering team back home. She gestured around the chamber, which housed enough armaments to obliterate a small moon. Speaking of which, she continued, are all these instruments of destruction truly essential? I mean, the selection is impressive, but most of this gear seems to contravene at least 17 different galactic safety regulations. Deathbringer, the seeker of sharp things, emitted a guttural rumble that might have passed for laughter had his species possessed the requisite vocal apparatus. Safety regulations hold no sway within the sacred arena, human. Here, only victory truly matters. Alex countered. Right. but that's precisely where you're mistaken. She casually picked up what appeared to be an ornate ceremonial blade, examining it with the keen interest of a seasoned professional. Safety regulations are paramount everywhere. It's simply that most individuals fail to grasp the intrinsic connection between proper safety protocols and achieving tactical superiority. She flipped the blade, scrutinizing the intricate handle mechanism. For instance, this sword, exquisite craftsmanship, undoubtedly blessed by a multitude of war gods. However, its weight distribution is entirely unsuitable for prolonged engagement, and the grip's design would inevitably lead to hand fatigue within 10 minutes of serious combat. The weapons master leaned in, a flicker of reluctant intrigue in his gaze. You possess knowledge of weapon design. I understand engineering, Alex replied, setting the sword aside and reaching for what looked like. She held an energy pistol, a testament to applied physics with superior branding. Flipping the safety off, she noticed the Carter engineering standard on the power coupling, realizing Alex had tampered with its handle. The weapon hummed to life, forcing the weapons master back. Trade secret? Alex quipped, a knowing wink. Much of the ancient tech here was likely birthed in factories my company conceived. Setting the pistol down, she surveyed the arena, recognition dawning. The containment fields, gravity controls, spectator barriers, it was all familiar. Alex retrieved her tablet, fingers dancing across the screen. Arena Construction Contract 847B, Council Engineering, 50 years ago. Carter Engineering Solutions, primary contractor. The weapons master stammered, You built this place? Alex grinned. My mom did. I just supervised. Which means I know every hidden maintenance access. Ceremonial horns resounded, signaling the imminent combat. The human Deathbringer, a seeker of sharp things, intoned, I've witnessed 300 ritual combats. Galactic warriors facing impossible odds. Never have I seen such casual confidence facing potential death. I'm not facing potential death, Alex declared, striding toward the tunnel. I'm facing inevitable victory. There's a distinction. Pausing at the entrance, she looked back. Evacuate the lower platforms, just in case. In case of what? Alex's smile was both bright and chilling. In case I show you why humans need no armor to conquer. As the arena systems flared, signaling the ritual's start, Alex walked into the light, her flip-flops slapping stone. Behind her, the weapons master frantically engaged forgotten emergency protocols. Silence descended as combatants emerged. Velkov, a gleaming force of nature, his armor adorned with ceremonial weapons, strode onto the floor to thunderous applause. Alex ambled out, as if searching for a restroom. Dressed only in flip-flops, her tablet clutched tight. She presented a jarring spectacle that silenced the roaring crowd into a ripple of bewildered whispers. Is she truly intending to battle in that attire? One voice questioned from the viewing platforms. Another mused, perhaps it's a cunning psychological ploy. A third opinion cut through the unease. Or perhaps she's simply lost her mind. At the arena's heart, the combat coordinator, an ancient arbiter of ritualistic duels, seemed to be grappling with a profound existential quandary. Human, the coordinator intoned, their voice resonating across the vast expanse. You are required to choose your armaments. Alex surveyed the weapon racks, strategically placed around the combat floor. Do you happen to have anything crafted from lightweight aluminum? She inquired, her tone as casual as if selecting kitchenware. Perhaps with an ergonomic grip? Velov's laughter boomed, echoing off the arena's walls. Select your weapons, human. Choose them wisely, for they may be the final instruments you ever wield. Alex meandered towards the nearest rack, examining the array with an air of thoughtful deliberation. These are all rather formidable, she commented, picking up a massive warhammer that likely outweighed her. Exceedingly traditional, very compensatory. She hefted the weapon. This one has a certain intimidating presence, utterly impractical for striking anything swifter than a glacier, though. The hammer returned to its place. This laser sword, she continued, lifting a shimmering energy blade, while visually striking, suffers from abysmal power consumption. You'd likely achieve a mere 20 minutes of combat efficacy before the battery depleted. That too was returned. Then she picked up what appeared to be a standard projectile rifle. This is simply disheartening. Chemically propelled solid rounds? What era do we inhabit? Velov began to show visible offense. Those weapons represent 10 millennia of military advancement, Alex replied with a cheerful shrug. Well, evolution doesn't always chart a forward course. Sometimes you end up with a platypus. Her appraisal of the weapon racks continued, each rejection accompanied by increasingly elaborate critiques. The crowd grew restless, their anticipation of brutal combat morphing into bewilderment at this surreal shopping expedition. "Human!" Belov roared, his patience strained. "Select your armaments, or face me without them." Alex readily agreed. "Unarmed suits me perfectly," she declared, abandoning the racks. "I've never been particularly fond of the conventional methods." Still holding her tablet, she strode to the arena's center, her gaze lifting to the assembled spectators. "Ladies, gentlemen, and all beings across the spectrum," she announced, her voice cutting through the vastness to reach every corner. "What you are about to witness is a stark illustration of the chasm between military technology and true military intellect." Belov unleashed his primary weapon, a colossal energy blade that crackled with the raw power to cleave through starship hulls. "Enough theatrics," he growled. "Face me," Alex declared. "I am facing you," Alex replied, her voice calm. "I'm simply not doing it in the way you anticipated." With a tap on her tablet, the arena plunged into darkness. 3 seconds later, emergency power flickered on, casting a sinister red glow upon the combat floor. In that brief void, a transformation occurred. Beloth lay sprawled on his back, his weapon vanished, while Alex sat serenely beside him, tablet in hand. "Do you believe Belos gained an advantage by designing this place?" Alex mused. "I know precisely where every gravity manipulation control is." She displayed a building schematic on her tablet, alive with blinking lights. "You mentioned a traditional approach, so I utilized every available resource for victory with minimal losses. A very human strategy." Beloth struggled to rise, his imposing armor hindering his movement. "You sabotaged the arena?" "I optimized it," Alex corrected. "Sabotage implies malice. Optimization means improving upon the original design." She gestured to the arena, where systems flickered and hummed with unauthorized alterations. "For instance, I've rerouted power from spectator comfort to enhance the motion sensors. Now, I can track your every intention before you even act." She held up the tablet, displaying Beloth's movements as a series of colored lines and probability matrices. "Furthermore, I've adjusted the atmospheric composition to sharpen human reflexes while subtly impacting species with your specific respiratory system," she continued. "Nothing harmful, just enough to balance the contest." Beloth finally stood, his movements notably sluggish. "This is cheating!" "This is engineering," Alex countered, rising with effortless grace. "And if you think this is impressive, wait until you witness my manipulation of the defensive systems." She tapped her tablet again. The energy barriers enclosing the combat floor contracted sharply, forming a cage no more than 10 meters wide. Beloth found himself uncomfortably close to Alex, his massive form confined and awkward. "The essence of traditional combat," Alex explained, unfazed by their proximity, "is the assumption of equal resources. But equality, too, is merely an engineering challenge." Beloth launched a punch, a blow that should have been impossibly swift and potent for any human to evade. Alex was gone. Combat prediction algorithms, she explained from behind him. Your species. Martial arts, so rigidly structured, so inherently predictable, felt like confronting an opponent reading from a script. Velov whirled, weapon systems igniting, but Alex had already vanished. Your armor, while undeniably imposing, is built for show and defense, not for agility. All that ornate plating cripples your movement. This time, Alex didn't just evade his lunge. She expertly redirected his own powerful momentum, applying precisely measured force at the critical juncture, sending the colossal alien crashing into the arena's energy barrier. The barrier flared, holding firm, but the impact left Velov staggering, his dignity severely bruised. And that, Alex stated, her breath unruffled, is why humanity needs no armor. She surveyed the hushed crowd, many now captivated, leaning forward despite themselves. You see, she continued, most civilizations believe military dominance stems from overwhelming firepower, impenetrable defenses, or intricate strategies. But humanity discovered long ago that the truest victory lies in ensuring the fight is never fair. Velkos, his armor sputtering erratically, struggled to rise. Impossible. You're just one human, an individual against the might of the Galactic Armada. Ah, about that, Alex replied, a new display illuminating her tablet. I should probably mention, I'm not exactly here alone. The arena's massive screen flickered to life, revealing a real-time tactical overview of the space surrounding the Council fleet. A collective gasp rippled through the audience as understanding dawned. Ships swarmed the void, not the colossal, threatening dreadnoughts favored by the Council, but a multitude of smaller, agile craft strategically positioned at every conceivable vantage point. They were virtually undetectable unless one knew precisely where to look, broadcasting identification codes that silenced every alien in the arena. Earth Defense Force, Alex announced with a cheerful lilt. They've been keeping a discreet watch, just in case this whole peaceful negotiation venture took a turn. Velkos stared, his remaining operational systems struggling to comprehend the tactical absurdity. There are hundreds of them. Thousands, actually, Alex corrected smoothly. These are merely the ones we're allowing you to observe. The rest are, shall we say, strategically positioned. She zoomed in on a section of the display, showcasing fleet formations that clearly enveloped vital Council vessels. You see, she explained, while you were meticulously planning this tribunal, we were orchestrating a rather different kind of summit. The tablet's screen shifted, showcasing communication logs, supply manifests, and what appeared to be exhaustive intelligence reports on every significant Council military installation. It turns out, she mused, when you've been the primary technological provider for the majority of galactic civilizations' military hardware, you acquire a great deal of insight. Valk's voice was a mere breath. How long have we been observing? 30 years, Alex replied. And how long have we been poised for this precise moment? 6 months. Alex glanced at her tablet, and in position to dismantle the Council's military might without a single shot fired. 3 hours. She met the commander's gaze, a flicker of something akin to pity in her eyes. You never stood a chance, Veloth. This wasn't about valor, or honor, or tradition. It was about dominion. The stark reality is, humanity has held the reins of this galaxy for decades, though you remained blissfully unaware. The vast arena fell utterly still. Even the hum of the life support systems seemed to cease. Alex continued, her voice resonating. We have 2 paths. Option 1, you acknowledge the old order's demise. We forge a new future together, and everyone departs in peace. Option 2, I will meticulously illustrate why confronting Earth is the gravest strategic blunder in military history. She gestured to the screen, where human vessels advanced into even more formidable formations. I truly hope for Option 1. Frankly, option 2 necessitates an overwhelming amount of documentation. Veloth stared at her, then at the unfolding spectacle on the display, then back again. His hand drifted, almost involuntarily, towards the ceremonial insignia adorning his chest, the very emblem of his authority, his standing, his entire identity as Supreme Commander. "You orchestrated this," he stated. "Every detail," Alex confirmed. "Well, save for the casual footwear. That was a spontaneous addition, but the rest? Yes. This has been years in the making." Bell's fingers tightened around his badge. "And if I refuse?" Alex's expression hardened. "Then you'll learn precisely why every other species in the cosmos speaks of humanity in hushed, fearful tones. Believe me, Commander, that is a revelation you truly wish to avoid." They stood locked in their confined energy field, the hushed multitude a silent witness. On the screens, irrefutable proof of Earth's overwhelming military supremacy continued to unfurl. Slowly, deliberately, Felcatis began to divest himself of his badge. "Humanity," he murmured, his voice barely audible, "was never the junior species, was it?" "Indeed not," Alex confirmed. "We were the guardians, preventing everyone else from inadvertently annihilating themselves. It turns out most civilizations are rather inept at colossal engineering endeavors. Far too many shortcuts, far too much complacency." The badge detached from his armor with a soft click that seemed to reverberate through the entire arena. "But why?" Felcock inquired. "Why conceal your power? Why allow us to believe we held sway?" Alex offered a smile, and for the first time, it held a chilling edge. "Because the most effective way to preserve tranquility is to cultivate the illusion of victory. You all felt important, felt mighty. We ensured no one would carelessly shatter the galaxy." She extended her hand. His hand held the badge, a symbol of all he'd believed about power, authority, and military might. Then he looked at the human in flip-flops, who had just systematically dismantled not only his personal combat prowess, but the very foundation of galactic civilization. "What now?" he asked. "Now?" Alex accepted the badge, pinning it to her t-shirt where it looked both ridiculous and perfectly fitting. "Now we return to how things were, but with far greater honesty about who truly commands." She tapped her tablet, and the arena's systems began to restore themselves. The energy cage widened, the lights flickered back on, and the atmospheric composition reverted to its standard state. "And we absolutely must discuss your fleet maintenance schedules," she added. "Some of your vessels are operating on safety protocols that expired years ago. Terribly unsafe." The crowd was starting to stir, murmurs rippling through the viewing platforms as the profound implications of what they had witnessed began to settle in. "Will there be repercussions?" Vost inquired. Alex pondered this. "Well, there's a mountain of paperwork, likely some uncomfortable diplomatic discussions, and certainly major overhauls to galactic military strategy." She began walking toward the exit, her flip-flops slapping cheerfully on the arena floor. "But if everyone handles this reasonably, we can probably sidestep any real unpleasantness." She paused at the tunnel's entrance, glancing back. "Oh, and Commander, next time someone arrives at your war meeting dressed casually, perhaps consider the possibility they possess knowledge you lack." Alex vanished into the tunnel, leaving behind an arena filled with silent, contemplative aliens and a former Supreme Commander who was just starting to grasp that the galaxy had been sustained by human tolerance for far longer than anyone cared to admit. The aftermath was surprisingly mired in bureaucracy. Within 6 hours of the arena incident, emergency sessions were being convened across council space, not for military briefings or war strategy, but for administrative matters. Endless, administrative meetings. It transpired that discovering your entire civilization's 30-year reliance on a single species' engineering expertise necessitated copious forms. Alex found herself in conference room 847C aboard the Council flagship, surrounded by anxious alien officials who kept stealing furtive glances at the commander's badge still adorning her t-shirt. She had finally secured the Wi-Fi password and was catching up on emails while various dignitaries attempted to reconfigure the entirety of galactic governance. So, began Counselor Blickstar, a timid amphibian seemingly tasked with interdepartmental coordination. For 30 years, humanity has been the primary military contractor, managing approximately 63% of known space. Alex clarified, not even glancing up from her tablet. And your role during this time has been precisely what? Supervising our endeavors? Ensuring you didn't accidentally annihilate yourselves? Alex responded, finally lifting her gaze. Can you even imagine the sheer number of near-extinction events this galaxy has witnessed in the past decade alone? 17. 17 times an entire species was on the brink of obliteration due to sheer engineering incompetence. She displayed a file on her device. Remember the catastrophic quantum cascade of 2387? That was the Zephyrians' ill-fated attempt at a faster-than-light communication array, constructed without adequate quantum containment safeguards. We were compelled to remotely deactivate their entire project, averting a chain reaction that would have irrevocably fractured local space-time. Blickstar's skin began to shift colors, a telltale sign of immense distress, as Alex had come to recognize. The Zephyrians publicly attributed that incident to a natural phenomenon. Naturally they would. Who would readily admit to nearly obliterating their own star system by accident? Alex returned her attention to her email. Or consider the hegemony's baffling power outages last year. That was our intervention, preventing their newly deployed planetary defense grid from overloading and rendering their entire homeworld sterile. Another counselor, a crystalline entity whose name resonated like the shattering of glass, interjected. Are you implying that humanity has been our protector? I'm stating that humanity has been performing damage control, Alex corrected. A significant distinction. Protection suggests a genuine desire to aid you. Damage control implies a necessity to prevent you from creating messes we would later have to rectify. The chamber fell into a profound silence, punctuated only by the subtle rhythm of Alex's fingers dancing across her tablet screen. However, she continued, that dynamic is likely to shift now that the truth is widely known. Velkos, who had remained impassively in the corner, his armor still intact, but his demeanor notably less intimidating without his insignia, finally broke his silence. What exactly do you mean? Alex placed her tablet aside and surveyed the assembly. I mean that our strategy of remaining in the shadows is only effective when everyone believes they are in command. Now that the secret is out, we will be compelled to be far more forthright. She rose and moved toward the room's central display, currently showcasing a strategic overview of Council territories. You see, maintaining galactic equilibrium necessitates a delicate equilibrium of power, resources, and the careful management of egos. Every faction needs to feel significant. Every species requires the sensation of contributing. Each civilization must believe they possess some agency over their own fate. Alex tapped the screen, and the visualization transformed to reveal intricate resource flows, established trade routes, and what appeared to be an overwhelmingly complex web of mutual dependencies. But the stark reality is that modern galactic civilization is fundamentally one interconnected biophysical system. This intricate system, like any complex mechanism, demands constant care, vigilant oversight, and sometimes even a bit of forceful persuasion. Forceful persuasion? Blickstar queried, raising an eyebrow. You mean hitting things until they cooperate? Alex responded with a cheerful nod. A remarkably effective technique, though not always the most diplomatic. She then turned her gaze to the gathered counselors. Until this very moment, we've managed most of our essential upkeep discreetly. A seamless software upgrade here, a vital safety recall there. Perhaps an occasional inexplicable glitch to avert truly catastrophic recklessness. The display flickered, revealing a cascade of incident reports, intervention logs, and meticulous maintenance schedules spanning countless star systems. But now that our role as the silent guardians keeping the lights on is common knowledge, we must begin to bill for our indispensable services. The ensuing quiet possessed a palpable density. "Billing," the crystalline counselor breathed. "Indeed," Alex affirmed, as if stating the utterly obvious. "Did you truly believe this colossal undertaking was a mere labor of love? Preserving galactic civilization carries a substantial price tag. Can you even fathom the expenditure required for monitoring posts in every significant star system, or for maintaining swift response engineering teams poised for critical interventions?" She brought forth a financial ledger that materialized on the main screen. The figures were staggering. For 3 decades, Carter Engineering absorbed these immense costs, acting as a de facto public benefactor. Yet with our operations no longer shrouded in secrecy, a transition to a business-like model is imperative. Velov's voice was a mere whisper. "What's the cost?" Alex studied the ledger. "For essential upkeep and emergency interventions, we're looking at, let's see, accounting for inflation and carryover calculations." The number that shimmered into view caused several counselors to swoon. "This will last for months," Alex added helpfully. The remaining still-conscious delegates stared at the screen in utter dread. The sum approximated the combined economic output of numerous major star systems. "That's simply unfeasible," Big Star sputtered. "No civilization could possibly bear such a burden." "Ah, but that's precisely the point," Alex explained, returning to her seat. "You've been shouldering these costs all along. You simply weren't aware of it." She tapped her tablet, and the display shifted to unveil intricate trade agreements, technology licensing pacts, and resource allocation charts. Carter Engineering has been underwriting galactic stability through an elaborate network of economic relationships. We supply you with technology at below-market rates, provide maintenance services gratis, and occasionally orchestrate trade flows to stave off widespread economic ruin. The display zoomed in on specific trade arteries, illustrating how human-managed shipping and resource stewardship had been the quiet linchpin of the economic equilibrium that sustained interstellar society. But that was when we were desperately trying to remain unseen. Alex resumed. "Now that our presence is universally known, we must completely overhaul our current arrangements," she declared, her gaze sweeping across the terrified assembly of galactic leaders. "However, fear not, for we are not unreasonable. We are prepared to extend a substantial discount to our valued existing clientele." "How substantial?" Philost inquired. Alex offered a knowing smile. "That, my dear Philost, is entirely contingent upon everyone's willingness to cooperate with our new management paradigm." "New management paradigm?" Blickstar's very being seemed to ripple, his skin shifting through impossible hues. "Oh, did I neglect to mention?" Alex feigned innocence. "As of this very moment, Carter Engineering assumes the mantle of official coordinator for all galactic military and civilian infrastructure. Consider us your consultants, albeit ones possessing ultimate veto power over critical policy decisions." She gestured to the prominent badge adorning her attire. "After all, I now wear the Supreme Commander's insignia. By your own established laws, this designates me as the highest military authority within Council jurisdiction." The chamber instantly devolved into pandemonium, a cacophony of shouts in myriad languages, frantic calls dispatched to distant home governments, and in a particularly desperate display, one counselor attempted a futile escape through a ventilation grate. Alex waited with practiced patience for the din to subside. "Listen," she stated calmly. "I understand this represents a profound adjustment. Change is invariably challenging, but consider the immense upside. For the first time in decades, you possess absolute certainty regarding who is in command. No more speculation about covert malfunctions or enigmatic policy shifts. No more ambiguity about the true distribution of power. She rose and began gathering her tablet into an unassuming canvas satchel. Furthermore, with all matters now officially sanctioned, we can finally commence tackling those more ambitious projects we've been deferring. More ambitious projects? Felov voiced, a tremor of apprehension in his tone. Oh, you know, Alex replied with studied nonchalance. Upgrading the galactic communication network, standardizing safety protocols across every major star system, perhaps finally addressing that persistent issue of species inadvertently generating black holes. She moved toward the exit, her flip-flops making soft percussive sounds on the gleaming floor. My legal department will forward the revised contract stipulations. Kindly endeavor to have them signed and returned within the next 48 hours. We have an immense amount of work to accomplish. Pausing at the threshold, Alex turned back to the stunned gathering. Oh, and one final detail. That fleet you dispatched last week to assert dominance over Earth. They'll need to make their return journey shortly. Parking infractions within the Sol system carry exceptionally steep fines, and those penalties double after 72 hours. She departed, leaving behind a chamber filled with beings gradually grappling with the staggering realization that their entire established framework of galactic authority had been fundamentally misconstrued for a duration exceeding the lifetimes of most present. In the hallway beyond, Alex retrieved her tablet and initiated a new message. "Hey Mom," she typed. "Remember how you always told me should I join the family business?" Funny thing is, she'd just stumbled into ruling all of known space, still in flip-flops with a breakfast burrito in hand. "I suppose I'll need a larger office," she typed, sending the message into the bureaucratic chaos erupting on the council flagship. Across the cosmos, word spread. Humanity had emerged from obscurity, and for the first time in 3 decades, everyone knew who held the true authority. Surprisingly, most species reacted with a degree of acceptance, having long suspected such advanced technology, flawless solutions, and precise timing couldn't be mere chance. The Andromedans offered congratulations and a fruit basket. The Zephrons proposed renaming their planet New Carter in tribute to their liberators. The Hijgamana lodged a complaint about parking infractions before quietly settling the fines. Meanwhile, a former Supreme Commander, secluded in his quarters, gazed at his own reflection in armor now stripped of its former grandeur, bewildered by how he'd lost a war to someone who hadn't even worn shoes. But that, as they say, is a tale for another time. The crucial point is that Carla Carter, CEO of Carter Engineering Solutions, coordinator of galactic infrastructure, and supreme military commander of known space, finally had her Wi-Fi password, fulfilling her most fundamental desire.